9 quilters started this journey and now only 2 remain. Join us for the season finale of the Quilt Project.
I'll be really nervous because she's just really good. And I've thought that from the very beginning. I knew from the very beginning that the person that was going to be the strongest competition was Emily. She's real creative. I think she's gonna win. Which sucks, actually, because I want to think I'm gonna win. But it just seems like that some of the things I've done and put a lot of heart into and a lot of work into, second best.
We started the competition with a group of 9 diverse quilters, and after 7 eliminations, it is you 2 who remain. So Emily, Twyla, congratulations on making it to the first season finale.
Woo-hoo.
You won't just be submitting another piece here at the Patch, however. We're heading on the road. In just under a month, the Virginia Quilt Museum will be hosting the final gallery showing, and the 2 of you will be the stars.
For your final challenge, you must select one of the 5 on-the-town projects that you have already created over the course of this season as your inspiration piece. Then, you will make 2 new pieces to create a mini collection.
Having to do 2 projects, even if you make them smaller. I've done smaller ones for this challenge and they still take a long time to do when you're trying to do them nice, and so just trying to fit 2 in my very little bit of time I have is freaking me out.
But I only have 2 weeks to do it because I have to turn mine in early because I have to mail it. So I have to really work at this. I can't just lollygag this time. I have to get busy.
It's important to note that you don't have to follow the original on-the-town rules of your inspiration piece. If you choose your piece from Neutrally Exclusive, your 2 new works can utilize any color you wish. If you choose your stuffed animal, your remaining pieces can be wall hangings.
We're not restricting you in any way for this challenge. So it's time you show us the utmost of your abilities. Let your imagination run wild and fight to the death.
I don't want to kill you.
In addition to your mini collection, you will also need to prepare a 2 to 3 minute speech presenting your final collection and explaining your journey here on the Quilt Project.
We're so honored to have you both as our final 2.
But only one can win.
Good luck.
Oh. Can I quit? We got it. So in the next 2 weeks, I can think of in my head right now, maybe 3 days that I don't have to stay late at school and do stuff. So time freaks me out.
I'm real excited, but I'm kind of a little bit, 2 of them is hard. It's hard enough to just do 1. 2 of them, I'm almost like going, when am I gonna start? I gotta start now. My brain's not gonna stop. I'm not gonna sleep. I'm just not.
The easiest way to assess roughly how the judges are going to score is how much time they spend with a piece. Twyla is always going to be technically freakishly proficient. That's her whole thing. Mm-hmm. I think you can look at the Terry aspect though, and the reason Terry made the top 3 is because of creativity, and creativity is weighted so much higher than technical score. Mm-hmm. On the judges' score sheet itself, creativity gets double, technical score is halved always. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for technical viability,
what was it, 8-point difference?
It's like a fraction of a point is what I'm saying. So if you get...
No, it's fractional is what I lost by. I'm doing a lot of hard work too, and I don't know. I'm a little bitter. Because I really tried to go all out on this one. And for just finding out that a couple little stitches is what knocked me out is are you freaking kidding me?
It could be on different colors.
Okay.
And then this type work would be your unifying.
That's not the work that got the technical.
It was the pucker on that.
Okay. I can live with that a little bit better.
Because if this is going to be your unifying thing, then you don't have to stick with animals.
Right.
Okay.
That's the one I picked. I guess a lot of people have been telling me that they like the unicorn one that I just did, so I picked that one as my inspiration piece, and I don't know, maybe a series or something playing around with that idea. But I think I can just do me, whatever that's gonna end up looking like. I don't know yet. I tried some new stuff with this unicorn quilt and I had fun with it.
I'm gonna pick the two that I did the best with. So it's either that or that. If I did Ireland, I could pick countries.
Yes.
Like next time I could do Spain and do it red, Italy and do it purple like wine or whatever, or green, or I could do that and inspire from countries. Or if I did Southwest, I could do basically the same thing, just do different states. Like Alaska and do salmon and is that what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Or New York and do, whatever animal.
Another way you could do it is if you use the same technique but different. But I like the idea of using your scenery as your continuity.
As my thing that brings it all together.
Yeah. So is this going to be your inspiration?
That's my inspiration.
Your final answer?
It is.
Okay.
That one.
So here's her inspiration.
Yay! Okay. I picked my Southwestern one, not because of the technique, because just because I have this plan. It's like, okay, so they said it has to be cohesive, so I want to pull in different states and different things about that state that I like. And that's what I did with this challenge. I did Southwest, which was Arizona. So now I'm going to pull in something from like Alaska, or I'm thinking Alaska and I'm thinking Hawaii. But I don't know, I might change my mind. Just depends. But, and then I'm going to pull that in and incorporate it into this is the United States.
So, who are you and how long have you been quilting?
I'm Brenda Neff, and I've been quilting for about 40 years.
40?
40 in some way or fashion.
Oh my god. So, was your mom a quilter
No.
or grandma or anybody? So then how did you get started in quilting?
I sewed garments for my family, the whole, when my kids were younger and everything. And then I don't remember, I think I went to Charlottesville and took a hand piecing class, which at that time in my life, that was just really funny. And I guess from there I evolved into the machine piecing.
40 years later, do you hand piece at all?
Yes.
You do?
I do more now than I did. I go in moods. If I get in a mood where I want to embroider, machine embroider, I do this. Then I might get off of that and go into just regular piecing quilts, and then it depends on what I see and what my mood is. I have to be in a mood to do this. I just like I get mesmerized by when the machine's running. I just sit there and stare, and it mesmerizes me. I could actually walk away about 10 feet and do something, but you can see that this one's not finished, and the next one you'll see is not finished because I make the tops and then hang them in my closet. And I have a long arm machine. I have the Pro Stitcher that was bought from here, and I just think they look nice hanging in the closet. And maybe the piecing of this will take, like this one took a year to do all the blocks because it was a block of the month. And then I fold it and put it in the closet.
And so when does it get to get out and?
It could be anywhere from maybe a year or more. I bet you I have 20 some tops hanging in the closet.
I think it went really well. You really saw quilters come out, and because they were doing things that they had not done before, and just the stuff was really imaginative. I don't think I could have come up with these kind of things. So it was kind of ironic that I'm there to help them, but their imaginations were just going wild. And I think it turned out more than we thought it would originally be.
We're having you back.
I'll do it again.
Okay, so who are you and how long have you been quilting?
Who am I? Well, that's a good question. If only I knew. I was born a small child in Oklahoma.
You were not a baby, a small child.
Yeah, a small child.
Okay.
On Route 66, as a matter of fact. And I was delightful, of course. As a baby.
You were delightful,
you know?
of course.
But other than that, who am I? I don't know. I'm just a guy. Been hanging around for too many years, it seems. And
do you have a name?
Oh yeah, you want a name? You need a name? Robert. My name is Robert.
That's a good name.
Robert Just. I have been quilting since, let's see, I'd say 1993, 4, maybe 1994.
What would you consider like your aesthetic, or what you kind of tend to lean towards as far as techniques or fabric, or?
I like, bright colors, and I like my quilts to look kind of weird, stand out,
What kind of influenced you to start quilting?
My wife has given me signals not to tell a story, but we were young and in love, and we'd just been together for a short period of time.
Right.
But I was taking night classes, so I had a lot of homework to do and stuff. So Suzanne, my future wife, was interfering with my homework and studying and stuff. And so I said, honey, you need a hobby. Which didn't go over all that well, really. Shortly thereafter, a few days later, she said, well, I want to take a quilting class. Will you come with me? And our stories diverge at that point.
Okay.
Where she says I was what I consider to be overly enthusiastic. Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. I've always wanted to quilt. And I deny that to this day.
So for the final challenge, the contestants had to design 2 new pieces around an inspiration piece. Their inspiration piece could be any of the pieces they made previously in the season. Both of them chose to design based on their most recent works. So this piece, as you guys have already seen, was designed by Emily for the 5th challenge. She designed 2 more to complete a mini collection.
So that will be what we see right
Man,
now.
a mini collection.
And
So this is her
A
phoenix.
phoenix.
All the stitches in the tail, which
Yeah, different.
kind of goes along with all the
Yeah.
stitching,
Yeah.
fill stitching she did here.
how did she, Kate, what was the technique you used on the feathers?
So for the feathers, it's actually like a colored pencil that you then put water over. So she did all that by hand.
Really?
And then
Yeah.
the wings and body of the phoenix are reverse applique, which
They are,
is a
yeah.
technique that in the first challenge, she was cited down for by you guys because
Not
she
me.
didn't like snip all the threads and everything. So she decided as her final piece to go back and master that original piece.
To rise from the ashes.
To rise
The
from the
rise to the
ashes.
ashes. Yeah, I get it.
So that's her first piece, and then her second piece to go with this collection.
Fairies.
That's very nice.
Fairies on mushrooms. It's very nice.
Very nice.
It's delightful.
And she did it out of a dream.
Yeah.
You could be an
Well, we got a theme going today.
So for this piece, she used every technique that
Oh, and believe.
within each of the previous challenges.
Is that right?
So she used like the white and cream, she used paper piecing, she used embroidery threads, she used from the Zentangle from the unicorn, and so she used everything in this piece.
And I believe, based on what she told me when she was designing it, unless this changed, I believe the fairies are all based on photographs of her daughter. As
They
reference
are.
images.
They are.
So as a cohesive whole,
I mean, it obviously works as a cohesive whole conceptually. I don't know that the black and the white are very cohesive as the
That-
backgrounds.
That bothers me.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but you know, as a unit, this one stands out because of the black background.
Perhaps if one was white and one was black and one was a shade of gray,
So it's like a transition.
that would be more cohesiveness, I think.
I think these two are soft. This one to me is just screaming and angry, where these are soft and sweet.
it's interesting that you guys are taking kind of this one to be the outlier, because I do understand it as being the hot piece and the kind of extreme screaming piece. For me, my question is a sense of scale and whether or not the fairies kind of violate that sense of scale.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
You're dealing with negative space, and here it's explicitly filled in. You know, she colored in every possible space. I like them as complementary pieces. I don't understand necessarily how the fairies fit as the third piece.
They fit as a fantastical
Ethereal,
creature.
Yeah.
ethereal creature.
But if you have the balance between, but I suppose, I was about to get a little philosophical, but if you have the balance between the phoenix and the unicorn, I understand that.
Yeah,
Because it
right.
is opposites. I think what's throwing it off balance is returning to the white with the fairies. Thematically, fantastic creatures, totally makes sense. But as a piece, I think that perhaps it's the fairies that throws it into flux.
And perhaps one fairy, made very large.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so which of the three is your favorite piece of this collection?
Unicorn.
I like this one.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's soft and airy.
It's sweet.
Yeah, it is a very, you're right, it's a sweet little girl quilt. And I like that one too, the unicorn.
I was gonna say I'm all about sweet little girls, but then I decided that might not sound right.
Solid decision.
And then your wife could have the whole house to herself.
Yeah, that's true.
So
No, that's good.
for Twyla's final collection, she also chose her piece from Judge Jury, and she decided to go with states. And so for this piece that she had the batik from Debbie to do the Southwestern theme, she was in Arizona. And so one of her pieces is gonna be Hawaii.
Yeah,
Look how she made the foam on the waves.
And look where they meet the rock. And
Yeah, just splash like that.
I could
Wow.
have done that with all the dog
And then the
hair.
volcano's got volcanic ash coming from it.
I think she should quit her day job and just do this.
And then this must be a killer whale, or
It's
no?
just
It's
spectacular.
a whale tail.
It's
So
shambling.
I think it's a whale tail, so it's a gray whale or something.
And again, she's taken it out into the border.
Yeah, she's a border.
The coconuts.
Take her outer girl. Coconut.
Wow, how cool is that?
I think Twyla has mastered using multiple layers to create
Well, yeah.
movement and texture
And techniques.
and wonder.
Yeah, she's mastered it pretty well, yeah. Gotta
It's
say.
classically Twyla for sure.
And again, on the back, as in her previous piece, it's
She
gonna
explained
say, yeah, she does. She explains
Oh,
it.
yeah, humpback whale. So that's how I was right about that.
And then
Hibiscus.
on the front, the little shells actually didn't have holes in them, so she made the holes herself
She
and
drilled
then
the shell.
sewed them down.
I've done that.
I don't
What?
know.
I have
don't
done
know.
that.
That's above my pay grade. I think it's gorgeous.
It is. It is.
And you can feel that the waves are breaking.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's very nice. Certainly has a wonderful feel to it.
See, I like the bold colors of I'm taking it as sunset. Yeah, most
Yeah.
people would not venture into that much of a purple or pink.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. This is her first piece, and her second piece actually depicts Alaska.
God, salmon.
Do you know if Twyla has been to these places?
I don't know. I would assume so, but she hand draws everything before she starts a project. And then,
Aurora Borealis.
yeah. And
The
trees.
moon is shedding.
Being from Michigan and having seen the Aurora Borealis a lot, it needs green in it.
I was thinking the colors were a little
It needs
off.
green. It needs green. The northern lights have a lot of green in them.
If that's
This
the
is-
biggest complaint we have. it
Yeah, I don't
would
think
be
that's-
golden.
I think so too.
Okay, so how do you guys think that that the three of these act as a collection as far as
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Point on.
Yeah, there's little or no doubt that they are a unit.
and what about them makes it obvious?
The white
With
border
their
helps.
Yeah, that helps.
The
And it's
wet-
also
well,
the theme,
techniques.
is nature
Yeah.
in each state.
And then going out onto the border is a style that would be recognizable. Just all the thread painting and the embroidery, just the
All the,
techniques.
yeah, all the different techniques that are
The
in each
embellishments,
one.
yeah.
I do have a complaint about them though.
Oh, I do too.
Is-
So let's hear yours.
Okay, my complaint is, or critique, it's a complaint. It's not a critique, it's a complaint.
Oh,
Is
no.
that she did not do all the states because I love them so much. But I want
Where's
them-
Virginia?
Where's Virginia?
Yeah,
Come on
of
now.
course.
Like the best of the state is not represented here. So that is my complaint, not a critique.
That takes a
But I just would
show.
like all of the states done.
We don't
So
get
she
it.
has 47 more to go.
I know, that's what I think too.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic. I think of the Coco Chanel quote of like, before you leave the house, take something off. And so the only thing for me that makes them feel a little less cohesive than they could possibly be is I'm looking at the Hawaiian one and from our angle, from my direction, the shells feel a bit of an add-on. Like I appreciate them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Twyla wasn't just doing Twyla things because she can do Twyla things. Like it feels,
Forced.
yes,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit,
yeah.
a little bit. And so I wonder, had just a tiny bit more restraint been used on the newer two pieces, if it would even elevate it a bit more. Does the moon have to be wispy?
See, I
What's a
love
cloudy
that.
The wispy moon is a touch.
I love the wispy moon.
But that's a genuine question.
It
I'm
is.
not trying
No,
to
it
be,
is
yeah. So
completely.
my question is,
Well, it's
would
nice.
restraint be used, or do you enjoy the pieces as they are?
I like the shells on there because I think it just kind of adds another dimension to it.
Yeah, I like them, but yeah, I
I see
always
what
try
you're
just a
saying,
little.
yeah.
It's
I could have
maybe
gone with a few less
maybe
shells.
taking the,
Well, and there's
a step
nothing,
further. Yeah.
there's nothing three-dimensional on here. That one's
Yeah.
got the beads.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That has the shells.
The wispy moon is three-dimensional.
Well, but so's the wave.
Yeah, true. Well, I don't really have much in the way anything
Yeah, I think it's
criticizing this.
awesome.
They're all delightful
Yeah.
and
They're
spectacular.
beautiful.
And yeah, you could task her to make 47 more steaks.
I think she
Uh,
should.
I might do something like that too.
first off, who are you and how long have you been quilting?
I'm Linda Pooley. I've been quilting since the early 90s.
What made you kind of start getting into quilting, and like, did your mom quilt? Was it a family thing, or how
My
did you
mom
get
did
into
not
it?
sew. My grandmother did fancy work at a department store where she worked many decades ago. It's something that had interested me, and I wanted to learn how to do it and didn't know where to start. And we were picking up some bunk beds for my kids, and right across the street was a shop that said "So Elegant," and there was a quilt block on it, and I said, I could go there.
So then what is your aesthetic usually? What do you tend to gravitate towards as far as your fabrics or techniques or anything like that?
Technique's something I haven't done before.
Okay.
I like new challenges. Fabrics, we're sitting in front of one that usually is not my choice of fabrics. I like blacks and brights and whites and brights.
I've seen you do a lot of blacks and whites with brights. So when you brought this one in, I was pleasantly surprised, but very surprised.
But this quilt top sat for probably 10 years. And I took a class in Wisconsin at one of Nancy Notion's big quilt conferences.
Okay.
By a lady named Joni Poole, and she showed how to do heirloom quilting on your domestic machine, which was all I used at that time, just meandering and stitch in the ditch. And I looked at her work and I said, that's what I want to learn to do. So I took her class, and most of the rest of the time I was there, I sat and watched her in her booth. And I came home and said, this is the one I'm going to do that on.
So I heard you had a dream about something related to the Quilt Project.
You want me to show this?
I
huh?
do.
You do.
I do.
Okay.
So first tell me, let's go with the
story.
background first.
I watched the video of the first program, and I must have been very impressed with it because I had a dream about it. And in the dream, Elliot, bless his heart, commanded, and I will use that word,
Sounds accurate.
that the judges do a challenge. And he issued us a challenge based on our careers.
Okay.
So each of us were different, and I didn't know what the other judges' careers were, so my dream didn't go into what they did. But my dream went into what I was told to do, and my assignment, as I had been an English teacher, not at high school level though, to write a Shakespearean sonnet in a quilt. And the dream continued, and I designed the quilt, and when I woke up in the morning, the whole quilt was designed. And I remembered it.
I didn't know that part. Okay.
Yeah, I remembered it. And so I made it.
Well, let's see it.
And being that I was not a high school English teacher, I hadn't had Shakespeare since my second year of college. And I couldn't have told you what Shakespearean sonnets were, the pattern, or anything. So I wrote a Shakespearean sonnet. And this is the work.
And it literally says a Shakespearean sonnet over and over.
Yep. I did the circles to represent the Globe Theater and theater in the round. Here's a pennant.
And then you said this one was
This
for the ropes?
is representing the ropes that they use to raise and lower the curtains.
Elliot's gonna be so proud. Dream Elliot was right on. So I think this is amazing.
It was fun, and it'll hang in my studio and be a memory of doing this project.
See, creative, outside the box. Totally beyond the Quilt
Yeah, but how many times am I going to dream?
I don't know, at least once. So. Hello and welcome to the season finale of the Quilt Project. We're so thankful that you all could join us, and the Quilt Project has already received thousands of views from 30 countries around the world. So congratulations to everyone who participated.
Absolutely. It's been a long journey. During a massive January blizzard, 9 quilters began the competition with a single block. Now, 6 challenges later, only two quilters remain. Emily, an arts teacher who exploded into the competition, winning the Women vs. Wild on the Town Challenge and the Pantone Block Challenge on the very first day. And Twyla, an Atlanta native who began the competition in the bottom 2, but whose 2 perfect scores in the last 2 on the Town Challenges ushered her into the finale.
Today is not just about the 2 finalists, however. On display is every piece made during the course of the first season of the Quilt Project. The women of the Quilt Project have rallied together over the course of this series, building a community of not only competitors, but of confidants and collaborators. From all of us here at the Quilt Project, we would like to thank our very first cast of the Quilt Project.
That being said, the pressure is still on for our finalists. This is the final gallery of the season. Behind us are 2 mini collections made by the finalists. They each selected one of their previous works, then built 2 new pieces based on that original work.
So we'll go ahead and get the 2 finalists to come up.
Yeah, so if you could go ahead and get Twyla and Emily.
Yay! All right. So now that you've seen the final pieces, we have asked each of the 2 finalists to prepare a short statement about the process. Emily, you're up first.
For the finale of the Quilt Project, I selected my unicorn quilt from the Judge's Choice Challenge. I selected that quilt as my inspiration because even though the theme was given by the judge, the technique, style, and inspiration were my style and taste. I had the most creative fun out of all of the projects with that one, and I felt the most ownership, so I thought that one would be a good one to kickstart my collection. So to create a collection based off of the unicorn quilt, I chose 4 main things that I wanted to have present in each piece. The use of a mythological creature, the Zentangle free motion quilting, a specific color palette, and a piece border. A main goal of mine was to give a variety within the collection, and I did this by creating a quilt with 1 big subject matter, a wall hanging, and a quilt with multiple blocks, so you could do a lot more things with it. So I felt that it was important to showcase many different techniques that I had learned throughout the competition, and to also show that all 3 pieces, though they are different, still go together. So the main inspiration for creating these pieces was my daughter. When I was first given the theme of unicorns and rainbows for the Judge's Choice Challenge, I immediately thought of her. So I wanted to make a quilt that was fun, playful, and functional, and beautiful, and I was very pleased and wanted to continue with that style. So I started my collection the same way I did the unicorn. I thought of my daughter. I love her playful, beautiful spirit, and felt that the use of whimsy and mythology would help me match her in fabric. So for the fairies quilt, I used actual photographs of her as a starting point, drawing them out and creating wings and placing them in nature. I incorporated cool colors with the border, paper piecing, embroidery, free motion couching, and applique, all things that I had used previously in the competition. For the Phoenix quilt, I wanted to do something with a different color palette and a little bit of fierceness and not so much whimsy. So I picked the Phoenix. I love the story of the Phoenix. The idea of coming out of the ashes is something more powerful than before. And so again, I thought of my daughter and how in the future, I hope that she uses challenges, situations, and life lessons to always rise up, learning from them to be stronger, smarter, and better. I also used warm colors, applique, couching, thread painting, free motion, and reverse applique. And I added a new technique of hand coloring on fabric with these really cool ink tints pencils. So although I think all of them are very different, they can stand alone and they can really go together with style and concept. I learned a lot during this whole competition. I made some really nice friends, and I'm very proud about what I was able to create with this. So thank you for coming. I kind of did too.
Okay. Thank you, Emily and Twyla. You're up.
Okay. Well, it's been an honor to participate in this challenge this year. I can't believe I made it to the final week because I was, like she said, I was in the bottom 2 on the first week. So it's been an emotional roller coaster ride for me. I've loved and not loved every single minute of the past 6 months. I've loved making new friends, sharing that special bond that we quilters only have. And I hated to see friends get eliminated. I think that's the worst part of it, was the fact that every month somebody got eliminated, and maybe one month too. But anyway, and I begged my mom to do this thing with me, and so when she got eliminated, I was really, really sad. I loved being challenged to get out of my box and explore all kinds of new things and to push myself to explore new techniques. And I don't think I would have done that had I not been in this quilt challenge. So I thank you guys for that. I loved the fact that my husband got just about as excited as I did, and he was almost one of my worst critics because he'd go, "This fabric is just not going to happen. You need to change that." So I was glad for that too. And then when I mailed my pieces, I had to mail, because I live in Atlanta, so I had to mail a week ahead of time. So the Wednesday before I was supposed to turn it in, I had to mail my package. And when I left the post office, I was depressed. I just got really depressed. And so I got home and I was eating supper with my husband. I said, "Something's just not, I just don't feel good." And he goes, "It's all that adrenaline. You don't have it anymore." Because I would go from one couch, we would go from one challenge to the next, and I would get so excited because I'd think, okay, what's next? And there was not going to be a next. And so I was really sad for that. But despite all that, you know, I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy, crazy year. You know, figuring stuff out, but I'm gonna miss it. I really am. Now my final collection is, I made a title for it. I call it America's Beauty, the Final Frontier, a celebration of our last 3 states. It started last month. I picked the Southwest. I was challenged to do a Southwest thing with reptiles on our last month's challenge, and that's the one I picked for my final project. You want me to hold it up? Yeah. Yes. And this was it. And it was Southwest and reptiles, and so we were given a fabric, and so they gave me a scaly fabric, and I thought, oh. So I made him into a lizard, and then a little horny-toed lizard. And so I did Arizona because my husband and I go to Arizona on vacation all the time, so I picked Arizona. So that's what I did, and I picked out different spots all over the state of Arizona, like the state tree and the cactus, and I even put a little Mesa Verde up here, except he wasn't Mesa Verde, he's Montezuma's Castle, because Montezuma's Castle's in Arizona. And so I had to stick with Arizona. So I decided that was going to be my theme. I was going to do different states. And so I picked Hawaii and I picked Alaska for the last 2. And so I started on Alaska because I thought it'll be the easiest one. And I like different. I like color. I like different things. And so I picked the Aurora Borealis. I picked everything from the state of Alaska. And so I do a lot of, I did piecing. I did paper piecing on this one, but I just did the regular, I don't even know what it's called. It's just a piece where you take, it's paper piecing. It's paper piecing, that's what it is. And so I pieced all of this, and then I like 3-dimensional. I like touchy stuff. I like feely stuff. And so I put the 3-dimensional aspects of it, like the fuzz and the waterfall cascading down through the, and all the waves. And so that's what I did for Alaska. And then I picked Hawaii as my last one, and so I did the same thing, fuzz. And I saw this technique and I thought, I'm going to try doing that. So I put seashells on it this time. I just stitched them. And it's like, it's a pain to put a seashell on a quilt because seashells don't have holes in them. And so I ruined a lot of seashells to put seashells on my thing. But that was my techniques, and so I hope you enjoy it.
One thing that I would like to commend you both on that's not in our script, but is just the amount of work and dedication that you sacrifice for the Quilt Project. I know it's been emotionally difficult and difficult in time and even in physical ways. It's a difficult process. So I'd like to congratulate both of you and thank both of you for giving everything you had to this process. It's been fantastic to watch.
All right, but now.
Here we go.
A journey of 1,000 quilts begins with a single block. That was the very first line of the first in-house challenge. Today, that journey has come to an end. For today's winner, the prize will be either their choice of a $500 gift card to Patchwork Plus, which can be used to jumpstart their next creative projects, or a brand new Bernina 330. We've been honored to have you both, but ultimately, there can only be one.
Twyla, you will always have a place at the patch, but you will also have a place in history because you are our winner of the first season of the Quilt Project.
You're supposed to be.
I don't think I liked Emily's better. I think that I did something that was different. It was different and I piled a bunch of stuff in there. I mean, I worked like all the time. My husband thought that he was gonna he didn't have a wife. Because I literally stayed in my sewing room for 2 solid weeks because I knew that I had to have it in 2 weeks because I had to send it back early. And so I literally worked, and so I would be up there all the time and I would just think of new things to put into something, which is kind of a bad thing. But I just added and added and added. And so I tried to get out of my box and do something that was totally different, that was intricate. And so I think I added the details that I think were important to put into that piece.
You both did fantastic. You both did absolutely fantastic. And
Emily,
now it's your turn.
Emily, we would like to again congratulate you not only on making it this far, but really we feel like coming into a beautiful creative space. For us, this is not the end of your journey, this is the beginning. And we are so excited for the potential to soon carry Emily Q patterns. So please don't let this be the end of anything.
I'm lost. I don't know, I'm pretty bummed. I worked really hard. I worked like 14 hours straight one day hard to get them done. I knew it was I felt like I was taking a risk by doing so much variety and making my 3 pieces very much different, and I'm wondering if that's really what knocked me down. Because Twyla's are all very similar, but I was hoping that would be like a to win thing, to show them that I can do a whole lot of different stuff, not just the same thing over and over again. But didn't work. But I learned a lot. I made some great projects that I know I'm going to keep, or give to people that are important, and it is what it is. I'm a big time competitor, so I don't like losing. I don't lose very well, I don't think. I mean, I'm trying to. Because I want to be a good role model. I mean, win or lose, it really doesn't matter. I learned a ton, and I made some great friends. I think that was really the thing that was the seller for the whole thing, is that I've made friends who I've been able to talk to from like a creative standpoint. And before this, I didn't really know many quilters at all. I felt like I was kind of always some random young chick who sewed. So it's been nice to get to know some people. So that's probably the best thing I took from it. Learning some new stuff, definitely the friendships.
Thank you both so much. And again, thank you to everyone from our cast and our crew, our fellow contestants who all braved this very first season of the Quilt Project. We are honored and pleased to have had both of you so much. So thank you again so much. Let's give one final hand for our final 2. Yeah.
I'm glad that I won, but I'm sad for Emily because I know she wanted to win a lot. I hate it when people lose.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited. I mean, I'm really excited. I think it's the winning. I don't care. I do care about the prize, but I don't think I've ever won anything hardly. So I'm excited. I've loved every minute of it. I hope a lot of people do this because it's fun.
And that's it for season 1 of the Quilt Project. Now it's your turn. Are you ready to compete? Season 2 is now casting. Email us at thequiltprojectva@gmail.com for more info.